Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone is talking about money in English, using words like budget, finance, expenses, or cash flow, and even though you recognize each individual word, you still feel confused, unsure, or even a little uncomfortable because you don't fully understand how those words are actually used in real-life conversations?
Yes, that happens to me quite often, especially when I listen to people talking about work, business, or even daily life situations, where they say things like, I'm trying to manage my finances better this month. And I understand the grammar, I understand the vocabulary, but I still feel like I'm missing the deeper meaning behind what they are really trying to say.
Exactly. And that feeling is very common among English learners because learning vocabulary is not only about understanding dictionary definitions, but also about understanding how those words are used naturally in real conversations, especially when the topic is something as important and personal as money.
And the truth is, whether we like it or not, money is something we deal with every single day. So if we cannot talk about it clearly in English, it can limit our confidence in many real-life situations.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we learn English together in a relaxed, friendly, and practical way that helps you use English confidently in your daily life, not just in theory, but in real conversations that actually matter.
Hi, everyone. We're really happy that you decided to spend your time with us today because this lesson is going to be extremely useful, especially if you want to feel more confident when talking about money, work, and everyday life situations.
In today's episode, we are going to explore an important and very practical topic, which is the meaning and usage of words like money, cash, budget, and finance. And we are not just going to explain them simply, but we are going to go deep into how they are used in real-life communication.
Yes, and what I really like about today's episode is that it's not just about learning English for exams or grammar rules, but it's about learning English that you can actually use when you talk to your friends, your coworkers, your manager, or even when you are planning your own life.
Before we continue, we would love to ask you a simple but very interesting question, and we really encourage you to answer honestly, because this will help you connect more deeply with today's lesson.
Yes, don't overthink it, just go with your real habit.
Here is the question. In your daily life, are you someone who carefully saves money and thinks before spending? Or are you someone who enjoys spending money quickly without worrying too much about the future?
That question feels a little bit personal, but also very real, because I think many of us already know our answer, even if we don't always want to admit it.
Write your answer in the comments below using a full sentence. For example, I usually try to save money, but sometimes I spend too much on things I don't really need. Let me share a real-life story with you, and as you listen, try to pay attention not only to the vocabulary, but also to how we talk about money naturally. A few years ago, I had a student named Dara, who was a very kind, hardworking, and responsible person, but he always felt stressed about his financial situation, and he often said, I don't have enough money, without really understanding why.
That sounds very relatable because many people feel that way, even if they are working hard every day.
Exactly. And one day I asked him a very simple but important question. Do you actually know where your money goes every month? And do you have a clear budget that helps you control your spending? And he looked at me and said, to be honest, I don't really think about it. I just spend money when I need something, and at the end of the month, I realize I have nothing left.
That sounds like a very common situation and also a very dangerous habit.
Yes, and after learning about budgeting, tracking expenses, and understanding his financial habits, he realized something very important. It's not only about how much money you earn, but also about how well you manage what you already have. Let's begin with two very common words that many learners think are exactly the same, but actually have slightly different meanings depending on the context, and those words are money and cash. When we use the word money, we are usually talking about the general concept of value, which includes everything, such as your salary, your bank balance, your digital payments, and even your savings that are stored electronically. On the other hand, when we use the word cash, we are specifically referring to physical money, such as paper bills and coins that you can hold in your hand and use directly without needing a bank or a digital system.
So if I say I don't have money, it means I don't have enough in general. But if I say I don't have cash, it means I don't have physical money with me at that moment, even if I have money in my bank account.
Exactly, and that distinction becomes very important in real-life situations, especially when you are paying for something in a place that only accepts cash. Now let's talk about the word budget, which is one of the most important concepts when it comes to managing money responsibly and building a stable financial future. A budget is essentially a detailed plan that helps you decide in advance how you are going to spend your money, including how much you will spend on necessary things like rent, food, transportation, and also how much you will save for the future or emergencies.
So having a budget means you're not just spending randomly, but you're making conscious decisions about where your money goes.
Exactly. And when people say, I'm on a tight budget, they mean that they have limited money available, so they must be very careful and disciplined with their spending. Now let's move on to a slightly more advanced word, which is finance or finances. And this is where many learners start to feel confused because the meaning can change depending on how the word is used. When we say finance in a general sense, we are usually referring to the system or field of managing money, including banking, investments, and business activities. However, when we use the word finances in the plural form, we are usually talking about a person's personal financial situation, including their income, expenses, savings, and debts.
So if I say I need to improve my finances, it means I need to manage my personal money better.
Yes, exactly. And that is a very natural and useful sentence in everyday conversation.
Okay, Vina, let's do a short role play.
Great idea. Role play makes more confidence.
Hey, Vina, I was thinking about going out for dinner tonight at that new restaurant everyone is talking about. But at the same time, I'm a little bit worried because I've already spent quite a lot of money this week, and I'm not sure if I should spend more.
I completely understand how you feel because I've been trying to manage my budget more carefully this month. And even though I really enjoy going out, I also want to make sure that I don't spend more than I planned.
Yes, exactly. And I think this is something many people struggle with because it's difficult to balance enjoying life in the present while also being responsible for the future.
Before we finish, I want to remind you of something very important that many learners forget when they study English, especially when the topic becomes more serious or complex. Learning how to talk about money, finances, and real-life responsibilities in English may feel challenging at first, but this is exactly the type of language that will help you grow, not only as a language learner, but also as a person who can communicate confidently in the real world.
And if you feel nervous, shy, or even afraid of making mistakes, please remember that every fluent speaker today was once a beginner who made many mistakes along the way.
Thank you so much for staying with us until the end of this lesson, because that shows your dedication, your patience, and your strong desire to improve your English step by step, day by day.
Yes, and we truly believe that if you continue practicing, even a little bit every day, you will slowly build confidence and reach a level where speaking English feels natural and comfortable.
Before you go, don't forget to practice at least 3 new sentences from today's lesson, write a comment using one new expression, and most importantly, keep learning with a positive mindset.
And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends who are also learning English.
See you in the next episode.